My name is Ryan Morrow, and this is my Week 3 assignment for Introduction to Ammunition and Basic Ballistics at SDI. Today's date is September 20th, 2025, and all the sources used in this video will be cited and on screen at the end of the video. For part 1 of this assignment, we're going to explore the differences between explosives and propellants. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, an explosive is any substance that can be made to produce a volume of rapidly expanding gas in an extremely brief period. For an example, here is tannerite being detonated. And also, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, a propellant is any gas, liquid, or solid, the expansion of which can impart motion to another substance or object. As an example, here is some smokeless powder being ignited outside of a contained cartridge. As well as some smokeless powder being used in typical firearm use. It's easy to notice the overlap between the two when trying to differentiate between explosives and propellants. What I mean is, yes, there's absolutely times when explosives can be used as a propellant and propellants can be used as an explosive. So in order to define the differences between the two, I think it's important to understand that it's a combination of not just chemical makeup and burn rate, but also how it's used and applied. So in the interest of streamlining the answer to this prompt, I suppose you could say that the main difference between explosives and propellants is the burn rate and the ability to control said burn rate. But remember, that also comes with some caveats. Because if we look at it like that, we would have to write off black powder as an explosive and not a propellant. Black powder has a rather fast burn rate and is somewhat hard to keep uniform and controlled, at least compared to modern smokeless powders. But nevertheless, black powder has been very effectively used as a propellant for hundreds of years. For part 2 of this assignment, this is the prompt, and my answer to that is, in my opinion, no. I don't think there should be any reason for the firearms industry to want to move away from the modern propellants that we do use. I don't think there's any real reason to try to reinvent the wheel here, especially if you give credit to all the work and meticulous research and trial and error that was done by these companies like DuPont and Winchester and some of these individuals like Elmer Keith over the span of decades and decades. It's led to a final product and a field of products that is really, it's almost perfect for what it needs to be. I guess that's really my take on the modern propellant market. So no, I wouldn't change it. I don't think the firearms industry should have any reason to want to change it. I think it's it's pretty good. It's just pretty good. All right, so part 3 of this assignment requires that I draw cross sections of 3 different types of primers, being boxer, Berdan, and battery cup. I am anything but an artist, so due to the embarrassing crudeness of these drawings, we are going to go through it fast. All right, let's begin. This is a boxer primer. Notice you have the cup, priming compound, anvil, flash hole, and the inside of your case, your propellant. The back of the primer is struck. The priming compound is crushed up against the anvil. You have flash to ignite the powder. This is a Berdan primer. Very similar. You have a cup with priming compound. This time the anvil is integral to the case itself. It's not part of the primer. It's actually part of the back of the case. And you have 2 flash holes on either side of it. The priming compound is struck, crushed up against the anvil. Once again, flash into the case, ignite the powder. The battery cup primer is the standard primer style for shot shells. You have a multi-piece cup, an inner and an outer, priming compound, a thin anvil that's sort of shaped like a triangle or a weird Christmas tree. Once again, you have the priming compound being struck up against the anvil, goes through the flash hole, ignites the powder. So that concludes my week 3 assignment for FTT 122. My sources include Explosives by David Darling, A Study of Ignition by Rifle Bullets by Mark Finney, Explosive by Norman Johnson of Encyclopedia Britannica, Propellant from Encyclopedia Britannica, and Types of Explosive Powders Used in Army Ammunition, A Comprehensive Guide from Defense Industries.